Good evening. Here we are for our second 2021 ICC Hen Chess Banter Blitz. And tonight we're going to do something just a touch different. We are a few minutes early, so I guess we'll just talk about basketball and other such nonsense, give people a chance to arrive. But the program for tonight will be that we will do a very short lecture. Tonight's show is kind of theme, if you will be the Norwegian rat. In fact, one of my buddies, we were watching these cooking shows, and they have a theme. Like one night was potatoes and steak. Another night was like bourbon and something. And so, anyway, Chopped, excellent show, highly recommended. So, in basketball news, Houston Rockets finally pulled the trigger and admitted that they are in full-scale rebuild mode. They shipped Harden out, and it was definitely the right thing to do. They weren't going anywhere. They were headed towards 8th to 12th in the stacked Western Conference with an unhappy superstar with a fat contract, a new coaching staff, and a bunch of role players, and question mark with John Wall. So totally the right thing to do. They got 4 new draft picks, which, they've basically given up all their draft picks over the years to build a win-now team. And look, to Daryl Morey's credit, who, is big on analytics, they had a window. They were up 3-2 on Golden State. They had them knocked out. If they would have finished the job, then they would have had a good chance
announcement
against Milwaukee. Unfortunately, Chris Paul came up lame, and then they were stuck with his fat contract for a guard north of 30, with a very, very fat contract. And the wheels came off after that. They shipped out the big man, Clint Capella, big talent. I think they sent him to Atlanta. Daryl Morey left for another front office, and that was pretty much that. Now they sent Harden out. But they did get 4 draft picks. And they do have a couple of contracts that'll expire pretty soon, probably like John Wall, Oladipo, or whoever. And they're admitting that they are in total rebuild mode. Now, of course, some of those draft picks might be pretty low. Some of them go further out, like from the Nets. And so by 2026 or something, the Nets might not be that good. Now let's talk about the Nets. I lived in Brooklyn for a while. I like the Nets. I like their new owners. I like the fact that they brought them in from wherever they were out in Secaucus or whatever. Nice stadium, downtown Brooklyn. But they are now the ones that are in the win now mode. And who do they have? They got Durant and Irving, who tend to be a little bit fragile. Now they got Harvey. So they got 3 big-time scorers, but, all of them are 30-ish plus. All of them are on fat contracts. And they got a lot of role players. They do have 1 shooter, but as part of the package, I understand they gave up their best defender and rebounder. So those 3 players are not exactly known as defensive stalwarts. They were already ranked pretty close to the bottom half, definitely in the bottom half of the league for defense. So they definitely are putting all their chips on the table for a win now type model. So see how it turns out. A lot of times with these trades, you can only tell over time. Anyway, here we are at 6 o'clock. Welcome, everyone. And we are live. So let's see if anyone is here. So I thought we would start today by doing a lecture.
Server announcement.
Maybe we'll have like about a 10-minute lecture on the Norwegian rat, and then we'll go ahead and proceed to try and play a few games. So one of the things that we'd like to do is to show how to use some of the ICC tools. And I myself was learning a few things this morning from the ICC staff. So I thought we'd start off by noticing that the new design here, we have the Foxy video on the Norwegian rat. I think it's about 8 or 9 hours, 3 volumes. And of course we have my little cat, Sweetie. Okay, my little darling, my little princess. Okay, so one of the things you can do in ICC is you can store games in your library. So let's take a look. View. We go to My Profile. Okay. We have to make the screen bigger. Okay. Now, when we go to My Profile, there's 2 buttons, one called General, one called Games. Under Games, you have about 20 of your most recent games, including the games we played last session. And then
Server announcement.
Then we have 2 games in my game library. So, let's go ahead and let the sirens outside roll on by. And then I want to minimize this so I can see the board over there. Okay, so here we are. So we're going to look at this. Now, one of the things here is a little toggle switch. You can flip the board, okay? And we're going to look at a game. One of my students, Sailor, older gentleman, used to own a sailboat, hence the name or handle Sailor. He is actually my eldest student at 76 years of age. And so I'd showed him this opening, and he took it up and he liked it. And here he's playing King Marco on ICC. I think it's probably like game 15. G6. Now you start out like you're playing a modern defense. D4, very typical, classical response, taking control of the center. Now normal, 99 out of 100 players at this point play bishop to G7. Some players may play C6, but knight to F6, a very, very provocative approach. In the 80s, that is the 1980s, not 1880s, I'm not that old, this was called the Norwegian or North Sea defense. Then later, the name was changed to the Norwegian defense. And it kind of didn't make much progress. Then there was a book published around 1906 by a small Hungarian printer, and also the opening was played by a couple of masters in Europe that didn't have great results with it. And for example, after E5, very provocative, kind of like an Al-Yakin's defense. Like you might expect knight to D5 would be very close to an Al-Yakin's defense, but the knight on the edge of the board. And then after bishop H2, they were playing knight back to G7, giving white complete control of the center and generally getting crushed, so the opening never gained much of a following. But as I point out in the videos, a hero comes along. And our hero in this case is Magnus Carlsen, our current, dashing young world champion. And he starts playing the black position. And at first, quite honestly, when I first saw him playing this, I thought this is total garbage. This is total nonsense. But he kept winning game after game. And so D6, this is a big moment. It turns out somewhere around around 2006, 2007, 2010, somewhere in there, Levon Aronian started playing this against Maracevic, this D6, like in some blitz games or something. And so a few other top grandmasters saw it, started looking at it, it caught on a bit, and basically you obviously are sacrificing a pawn on H5. Well, white doesn't always take the pawn. For example, Magnus Carlsen had a game early on against Mickey Adams in the Olympiad in Khanty-Mansiysk, where, Mickey just said, okay, your knight's on the edge of the board, I'm going to play knight F3. And Magnus actually went on to lose that game, but in his banner blitz, he said he lost the game, but it was because of decisions he made later. That's another story, and we cover that on the video. But you get some players that just simply like to grab a pawn. And now we call this the Norwegian rat gambit accepted. You play pawn takes pawn. Now, key focal point here, they can either play pawn takes or queen takes. And see, that's That's why I teach chess, because I have that keen eye for the obvious to point out the two obvious recaptures. Okay, but nonetheless, in all seriousness. So tonight we're going to look at two games that Saylor had where the opponents played queen takes. Queen takes centralizes the queen and obviously attacks the rook in the corner. Well, the next move is rook to g8. Now Magnus, in his Banner Blitz session so far, has had one person accept the gambit, and it was kind of rocky thing back and forth, but he opined that the two bishops, the half-open g-file, offer black pretty reasonable compensation for the pawn. I did a much more in-depth analysis on the video, and I kind of concluded, yeah, not unsurprisingly, Magnus is not probably incorrect about these things. So anyway, what happens in this game? Well, right away, knight to c3, developing a piece. Kudos for that, but not so good as far as meeting the demands of the position. The g-pawn is hanging, but even better, black plays knight to c6. Bam! He also develops a piece, but attacks the queen.
Server
double attacks the
announcement.
pawn on d4, and this is pretty sweet. So, in this game, relatively, I think King Marco's like, 1700 or something. So, he played queen b5, pinning the knight. I guess the thought was if you have to take with the queen, he'll be gaining some tempos, or maybe he'll be throwing in some knight d5 action. But a6, boot the queen. And now black has a choice of which pawn to take. Well, all else being equal, take the center pawn. White develops a knight, with tempo, attacks the queen. Now black, with the two bishops in the endgame, is obviously happy to trade queens and grab a pawn. Now, one of the usual things to be concerned about here is the bishop coming to f4, trying to steal this pawn or slither back to g3 and box in your rook. That's one of the dangers you got to watch for. However, here, because the knight on a4 is unprotected, bishop to f4, simply rook to g4 with a lateral double attack kind of skewer thing going. And the loose white pieces, something falls off. Well, in the game, white did something, bishop d2, simple development. Black developed his bishop. White popped in with the knight, said hello to the b-pawn, hello to the bishop. Obviously, you don't want to, you could just chill and go back, but then that would be admitting that bishop to e6 was not such a great move. But attacking the knight, putting the question to the knight, this is much more promising. Well, unfortunately here, white erred right away. Now, probably he needs to play king e2, but again, it's a bit dicey. White definitely is not the favorite. Black could just simply castle and party on with his development. In the game, white made a mistake, and we'll give you a second to find the very easy, very simple winning move for black. Okay, and again, this was played at game 15, okay? Okay, so where is everybody? Okay, so the winning move here is you simply retreat the rook. The rook attacks the knight. The bishop attacks the rook. A very, very simple tactic, discovered attack, which, tell you the truth, simple tactics is what wins the majority of chess games. In fact, white actually resigned at this point. He's not even getting any pawns per se. Well, maybe he'll get this pawn, but maybe he won't. Even then, rook over and rook down. And so basically, he's just going to lose a piece. He's got to move the rook. You're going to take the pawn. He may or may not take this pawn on b7. You've got a solid extra piece. Anyway, just a very quick example of the dangers for running off with your queen, grabbing pawns. Now, Saylor had another game one of the things Sailor does, he lives in Florida, and he goes to visit a friend of his in a retirement home that is even more senior than him. There's a gentleman named Nathan that came over from Cuba and played quite a bit of chess when he was younger in Cuba, and they have some real battles. And of course, at some point, Nathan was telling my friend Sailor that Nathan felt he'd been winning most of the games, and that did not exactly match Sailor's recollection. So he started actually keeping score. And then after that, it was easy to tell who'd won the most games. So this is one of their encounters from early this year. Yeah, usually once a week, maybe on Thursdays or Fridays, he bops up, from like St. Augustine up to Jacksonville or wherever, and visits the gentleman. And so this is one of their more recent encounters. Okay, so e4, g6, e4. Now, again, and it is such a hard habit for me to break here, because when I see this position with black, I keep wanting to go bishop g7, because that's what I've done for years and years. But knight f6, a bit more provocative. Uh-oh, how are we going to get this thing to play? Knight f6. Well, e5 again. Knight h5, bishop to e2. Nathan's got the queen and bishop battery. Now, you can only get a white player to fall for this who sees a bit, because most amateurs would never even think to double attack the knight on h5. Or, I mean, a lot of extremely weak players, that is. Anyway, d6. That's the Iranian move, offering up the Norwegian rat gambit. Well, here, white's all in, takes, and after pawn takes with the queen again. Okay, same position we had in the game with King Marco. Sailor simply plays rook to g8. That's the recommended procedure, threatening to recoup the pawn on g2. And here, what did Nathan come up with? g3. Okay, so what can we say about g3? Yes, it does guard the pawn. However, it dramatically weakens the light squares. It almost takes kingside castling off the table. The other issue is that it does not meet the second of black's threats in the position, which was again, bam, knight c6. So it's an interesting psychology that what we're seeing is that the below master level, a lot of players, when you go rook g8, they immediately spot the threat to the g2 pawn, but they're a little bit semi-oblivious. Now, normally knight c6 would not win a pawn because you would have a light squared bishop that would zap out to b5 and pin the dude. But in this case, the light squared bishop has left the table. So after knight c6, we can see black is threatening to get his pawn back. Well, white moves the queen and eyeballs the h7 pawn. Now, I think in this position that my thought would be to go ahead and play queen takes pawn on d4. If there's a trade on d4, I'm more than happy to take with the knight. I now have an endgame where I've got two bishops with flexible pawns on both sides, and I'm already threatening a little knight takes c2 action. If you guard that, I've got muy rapido development. That's about it for the limit of my Spanish. I'm going to play bishop f5, touch that pawn again, I'm going to castle queenside, and I'm just going to have a development party. So that would be my inclination. Now the other thing, if I play queen takes pawn on d4, if he goes queen takes pawn on h7, have a very crafty move in these types of positions. Obviously your rook is attacked, so you move it. But you don't go to g7, the obvious move, because then he may or may not go queen to h8 and try to pin your bishop and play bishop h6, although that probably doesn't work. But after queen takes d4, queen takes h7, the super crafty move is to play rook to g6. What does that do? Well, one, and mask off the queen, so you're now ready to lurch with queen e4 check and steal this guy in the corner. And you have some rook to e6 check possibilities. And you also have some bishop f5 possibilities preparing to really unleash some discovered attacks. So I would definitely be inclined to play queen takes on d4. Now, another move you can actually play, if you're pawn conscious, is you can play pawn to f5. A little bit loosening, but keep in mind white's already given up his dark squared bishop. If he plays queen to h4, then again, you could consider queen takes d4, queen takes h7, queen check, king moves, queen takes something in the corner. He tries to attack your pinned piece. You go after his king. It's a bit of a mess, but I feel like black's okay. So for my money, I would probably just play queen takes d4 here. Okay. Sailor had a different idea. He said, I'll just play rook g6 right away, and boom, bada boom, I'm threatening rook to e6. Well, white developed a piece. Probably he should have considered playing pawn to d5. That has the dual purpose of preventing any rook to e6 action, and it also attacks the knight at a moment when it can't pop up to b4 so easily. However, pawn to d5, pawn to f5, I mean, black still has some pretty good compensation here, because what are you going to do to try and maintain your pawn? You're still moving your queen around, and we're getting stuff developed. So, be that as it may, also on pawn to d5, rook to g4 maybe is feasible. However, in the game, white played knight f3, and then came the bad news. Pin 'em and win 'em, baby. That was Sailor's idea. Pin on the e-file. Well, white had no choice but to pop in with the knight, and now Sailor took the pawn on d4, recouping the pawn, totally destroying white's position, as white is totally hung up on the file, and after takes and knight takes, the game, for all purposes, is really over. The threat to fork on c2, the pin piece that's already under attack, basically white's just going to lose heavy material. Now, normally we would discontinue here, however, there's not a whole lot more to cover. The game continued takes.
Check.
Now, of course, white said, oh, I get a chance to get out of the fork. And so he played king h1. But of course, this just invited more development. And here, of course, you could play knight f3 check, or go for the basic
checkmate.
Rook and bishop checkmate. So, pretty amazing. I only showed Sailor this opening maybe 2 months ago, and he's already collected 2 15 or 16 move wins, against some of his regular opponents. So it does go to show that learning your openings can definitely pay dividends, but of course, you got to see the tactics. So, with that said, we will close that game and get back to new game board and see who's around to play today. So, Sandro, did you send out a flash for anyone that would like to play?
Server announced incoming challenge.
Okay, so B Thins is challenging us to an unrated game of 5-2. Okay.
Game started.
Let's see what B Thins has. D4. Okay. What to do? This isn't really a guy I want to mess around with. He knows a lot. Let's go here. Let's go here. So it looks like he's going for kind of a Jobava type system. Well, let's pin that knight. So now we have kind of a semi-French defense type thing. Yep, well played. If I take on d4, he takes with the queen. He's hitting my bishop and my g7, baby. Something tells me I need to get developed here. Okay, let's develop. I may just wind up giving up the bishop pair for nada, zero, zip. Yeah, if I go back. Okay, not liking this. Now we could go pawn takes pawn first. Then if he takes, we take, he takes. Wow, he looks pretty aggressive there, I have to say. Otherwise, I just got to give up the bishop for zip. Not feeling the thrill here, must say. Well,
Check.
do what we got to do. Like I said, not thrilled, but life goes on. Yeah, I think he was seriously contemplating some knight to b5 action, and I honestly can say I don't blame him. And knight a5's dangerous to allow. I think we're going to just try to put the kibosh on that. I mean, I could castle, but we'll see. So yeah, he's got a lot of reason to be happy here with the opening. He's got the two bishops. Kind of a Cairo Khan thing, if you will. I'm stuck with loser bishop on d7, who's going to try to figure out his future in life. What can I say? The darn chess videos make being a professional chess player a nightmare. Thank God I've got a day job. Oh, wait a minute. I'm one of those guys who makes those videos. But, you know, it's the guys like Simon Williams that make the really good ones. Andrew Martin, you know. Anyway, it's a game. I think white's doing okay here. Two bishops. Yeah. Now, what to do? I'm a little leery about castling queenside. I'm also, well, what the heck. Now, maybe another plan was b6 and a5 to try and play bishop a6 and resolve the light square bishop. But I really don't like that bishop of his splicing through my my territory there. I'm tempted to play b4, but I don't know if that really helps us. Okay, let's go ahead and get castled. Multiple reasons here for me to be unhappy, I think. Okay. What to do with my knights? Okay, and I'm using a lot of time. I'm a little concerned about that. Okay, let's go ahead and weaken our king side. Isn't that what you're supposed to do when you're worried that you're going to fall under attack? You're supposed to move pawns and weaken yourself? No. I think Stein had said the last thing you're supposed to do is move pawns. Okay, he's lined up there. Okay, let's get that guy spotted up. Whoa! Consider me confused. How could you take that knight? You gave up your good attacking bishop, and you opened my long diagonal, and you gave me the d5 square. I'm not sure about that, Bob. Okay, now I know you're going to try to do some stuff, and I know you're going to blunt my diagonal, but I think that was really the guy you needed. Now, of course, d takes. Yes, I mean, b takes would have created a target on b2, but how would I ever get to that target as long as he has this monster bishop, right? Okay, so now what to do? Well, I can go queen d5, but it seems to me that just forces him to play f3, which is kind of a move he kind of needs to play anyway. So I don't see the benefit there. Well, now we could go knight here. I'll just go bishop back. Then what's our progress report? Not easy to figure out exactly what to do here, is it? I mean, I feel like the position should be okay, but I don't see a great plan for progress, if you will. Okay, what to do? Well, let's start going on that side. What's he going to do? That's the other side of the coin, if you will. Yeah, now he looks like he's getting ready to play some knight to e4 action. Okay, now the ship's hitting the fan. We got some opposite colored bishops here. Both the bishops are looking pretty good. See, I thought about playing queen h4, but he would have just played bishop g3 or even queen f2. Oop, oop, oop. So with the opposite colored bishops, what can we say? King safety is a bigger priority than material. By the way, I really totally don't understand why I played the bishop c6 move. Seems like something like queen d7 maybe would have been more useful. Connect the rooks, that kind of thought. And totally not clear what my thought process was there with bishop c6. Yeah, I think that's probably the best choice. If he pushes by, then he kind of locks his bishop out. Now here, I was thinking I'll take with the rook. So, as one friend of mine, a Russian player I played once, said, you have your game, I have mine. We both have pretty good looking bishops. Yep, he's there, no doubt. Okay, let's mobilize, get the queen up. Now, of course, opposite colored bishops tend to have a high propensity for draws. Not sure the queen on d5 was the most brilliant idea. Okay. I guess time is a little bit of a concern here for him. Not totally clear how either side is going to make progress here either, is it? Oh, no, no, no. Bob, you can't trade. Really? I mean, that wasn't even a fair trade. You're doing okay there. You just needed to pass.
White forfeits on time.
Well, very good game there, Bob. Yeah, the opposite colored bishop. Just going back a few moves, you're pretty okay here. I mean, it's a middle game. I think it's pretty even. If we were to click the examine mode on, I think it's pretty even here. Let's see, toggle computer analysis. Where does our analysis show up? Not sure where it shows up. It's not showing up. But my view is it was fairly even there. Anyway, good game. Nice opening. I think you were doing well there in the opening. You had the two bishops. Also, when the knight came to c4, I don't think you need to chop that guy off. I don't really see the rush. You just kind of need to work around it. Maybe roll your knight over. Another idea is to put your rook on e1, roll the knight to c1, to b3, up to c5. That might be pretty tasty for you. I think you always have that option to take that knight. I would not have rushed to take that knight. Once you take that knight, then this guy gets a life. Okay? And black's pretty much past the worst. So anyway, very good game. Yeah, Bob says he's way too slow. Yeah, we agree. Should not have taken the knight. Okay. So, I guess we'll send out a
Game
game
started.
request. We got a 2300 player, serious player. Okay. Sicilian player. Let's see what kind of Sicilian. Now you can either go knight c6 and we get an advanced French, or you can go d4, which is an independent variation. Advanced French probably the right way to go. I have mixed feelings about the advanced French. People that play this stuff really know it. Computers don't like it. They like black in some of the main lines. Okay. But yet, players like Anand and Nakamura, have had some success. So, who's to say? Yeah, now this presents another challenge. And maybe g3 was a little more circumspect there. Yeah, maybe h5 is not the best idea. But who knows? Yeah, you got to be careful. If you go bishop d3, no, even that's okay. He's probably going to play f6 here at some point. These positions are very difficult to play. And let's get this knight back in the game. What to do? If I go there, he's going to go there and open things up. I should have played there first. Okay, now I'm getting behind on time. Not good. Yeah, I'm not sure I like knight c2. An interesting situation. Okay, so he went 2 hoppers with that. Well, should we undevelop? Or should we play F4? Let's play F4. Aha, so now he's making it very difficult for us to play there. Well, let's play on the queen side. Now, part of the question here is, where's my king going to go? But now I feel like we might have something here. Yeah, he might have a break on that side, but we got some stuff coming too. White definitely has more space. Okay, could see one slight potential problem here. Okay, so we need to reroute the knight. Where does the knight go? Oh, darn it. He's in our business. Tough game. Yeah, I wanted to be able to play rook c1, but his rook was defended. And I kind of underestimated. Oh, now he's all up in my business here. Okay, now it's a little tricky. That bishop on d6 comes back to life. Okay, so yeah, he sacked the queen. Okay, so now he's going to try to make trouble, but he's got some pieces that are out of play, and a queen's supposed to be worth more than a rook. Supposedly. What we got going for us is those guys over there on that side of town are out of the action. And we got a plan. Oh, he's just in time. We had a plan. We were going to go... Now he's got a plan. And he's got lots of time. Yeah, see, he was threatening to take my knight and then take my bishop. Okay, where's he going next? He's making trouble, for sure, for sure. Okay, good move. Well, let's take that.
Check.
Oh, now he's going to go get that guy. Smart move. Smart play. Where to go with our king?
Check. 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 Check.
Ah, that was silly.
Check. 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 Check.
Okay. So it looks like the queen is doing some good stuff here. Barring some...
Black resigns.
Ah, good game, sir. Yeah, and very heads-up play. At some moment, I was going to, like when I played knight e1, I was going to try and go after his, a few moves before that, I was going to try to go after his rook when I went knight e1. I have some possibilities of queen b3 and queen b2 dominating the rook. And so he played very good heads-up move, bishop back to f8, to give himself a a3 square. Anyway, very tough game, sir. Thank you for playing. So B Thins points out that Vicon Z starts tomorrow. Any big names playing in Vicon Z? I mean, I remember in the 70s and 80s, it was considered one of the premier events. Now, of course, You know, there are a lot of Champions Tour types events, so it's no longer the premier event that it was. Well, Magnus is playing. Okay, that's a big name, even though it's only 6 letters. Okay. Now, will ICC be covering the tournament? Oh, excellent. And who will the commentators be for ICC? Or is that to be determined? Anyway, yeah, in this game, the final position, yeah, the pawn, the A pawn is too strong. We managed to hold on to it. Our king is relatively safe. He could give a few checks. We could probably run the king up in this direction to H3, G4, G5 if we have to. Or even go the other way, in on the dark squares. The D7 bishop's still not quite getting it done, but the main problem is the A pawn. That's the main problem. Anyway, so here's the lineup. The usual suspects: Caruana, Vache-Lagrave, Giri, Feroza, Duda, Hare Krishna, Vutskovich, Dubov. So Dubov is the one eliminated Magnus from that last tournament. Epicinko, Anton, Van Foreest, Grangelis, and Tari. I guess exactly who is Tari? He must be the local seed. I'm not familiar with him. And of course Magnus. So, and what is the format? Tari is young Norwegian GM. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. And would ICC like to send out a bulletin flash to see if anyone wants to play? Or should I just go ahead and do a seek? Yeah, 13 rounds, round robin. And I take it this is at a more classical time control? Even though the tendency in chess is towards, faster and faster time controls. 100 plus 30. Oh, that's like correspondence chess by today's usual standards. So anyway, let's see who's around. We'll send out a 3-minute challenge. Although I don't know why I should play faster. I used 4 minutes for that game. I guess we'll send out another 5-minute challenge.
Game started.
Okay, so we got Ditto. And what is it? 3-minute game. Okay. Well, let's get the party started. Okay. Yeah, knight c3 is the most common response. Okay, and then knight e4, and then what to play? Takes, c5. And kind of a French defense, if you will. h4 is like, that's strong. Okay, so now let's go here. We could even think about taking that guy. Let's go here first. Here first. Let's push that guy. Now we could even think about taking his knight. I don't know if that's so bright. Let's go here. Ron, every square has an address. Here is bishop f5. Isn't that what you tell your kiddies? Don't say here. Give the name and letter of the square. Okay. Okay, now we're committed to getting our bishop trapped. Okay, he's all over that. Is he going to sacrifice on d5? Let's touch his c-pawn and see if he's really a sacrificer. Maybe not. Maybe so. Wow. Okay. Castle out of danger and hope we can survive. Okay, so body count. What's he got? He's got a couple of serious looking pawns in the center. Give him that. He's got some dark squares. Let's throw some more wood on the fire. I tell you, you study, you study, you study, and you think you know something, and there's always something new to do. That's chess. Oh, now he's giving us this one. Wow. Okay, he's definitely all in at this point. Let's take with the queen to offer the trade. He's got no interest in it. He wants to attack us. Is it too greedy to go for more material, or should we just give back some? Why don't we just... I don't know. Oh, it's a fast game. Ron, fast game. Think. Probably the smart play was to run with our king. Yeah, he's teeing up. Okay. Let's offer to trade. Oh, why didn't I take the thing on c3? That would have killed his pawn base. That would have killed him. Sometimes it's very important to kill their hope. You got to figure out what they're hoping
White
for.
resigns.
Okay. Yeah, I should have taken the pawn on c3. Anyway, good game, Mr. Ditto. Yep, that's the Norwegian rat that we saw Magnus playing a few times. And yeah, he had quite a few people play knight to c3. That's the most popular response. Very safe, very solid way for white to play. So let's see. Okay, so any other chess news? Now, of course, we all know about the tournament, the Air Things tournament, where they were all playing remotely and different parts of the world. And Nakamura got knocked out. I forget who knocked him out. But the big news there was that Magnus got knocked out. And then, of course, the guy that knocked him out, lost in the final to Rajabov. But yeah, this is a crazy game where he got eliminated. He was a piece up, but he miscued on the defense, and the guy checkmated his king, like up on f5 or something. So it happens. Well, let's send out another challenge, see who pops up. So I was wondering if Sandro sent out any bulletins to the. I haven't heard any announcements. If we send out any bulletins to the players, to the ICC players, to see if people want to play. Oh, he says he did, and he'll send another announcement, and we'll see who pops up.
Server announcement.
Yeah, in the final position here, black's white's up a lot of material, and I'm thinking about just, now, admittedly, the rook on h8 is not great. What should I do? Probably run with my king to a8.
Game started.
Okay, game on. Junior 64. Okay. Man after my own heart. Don't really know this. I always thought queen takes was one of the more dangerous lines in the accelerated dragon. I mean, knight c3, I thought, one of the more dangerous lines. So let's see. This stuff can get really messy. Something like here and here. Well, the guy knows his stuff. Knight takes. Excellent. I think, but now there's some very sharp stuff, like if they castle or they go here. Bishop d2. Yeah, I think this is a good way for black to play. I think the guy's doing great here. Yeah, I like what he's doing here. This is how I would have my kids play. Now, what should we do? Let's go ahead and castle. Yeah, I think he played the right way. It's like you sack this pawn, but you get pretty good compensation. You get an excellent knight on c4. Ahead, oh, international master. So of course, no wonder he's playing well. He knows what he's doing. Anyhow, I guess I got to accept the challenge, having gone this far. Now that's interesting. So yeah, he's definitely got pressure all over that c3 knight. How am I going to get my queen side unraveled? This is an interesting approach. I always thought taking the guy and then going there was the way to go. He's taking rather a different tack, if you will. Maybe getting into trouble here. I like what he's doing, though. He's playing very actively. See, I always thought bishop takes c3. But anyway, it's good to play things because this is how we learn. Okay, so now I'm suspicious that I don't have time to play here. So I think I need to play a little more aggressively. Yeah, he's obviously going to get his pawn back, but stuff happens. So okay,
Check.
the game goes on. So yeah, clearly he's going to get his pawn back. Okay. And maybe more. He's all on that guy. He's going to get that guy.
Time warning.
Oh, what to do? Oh, what is the time control here? Nah, this is lost. Anyway, good job, sir.
Check.
Yeah, I can resign here. He's got queen check on
Check.
b1. Okay, so where is the resign button? Good job.
White resigns.
Very theoretical variation. I always thought that in this position, black should play bishop takes c3 at some point. But you were able to get tremendous compensation here by just gradually building up, kind of Benko Gambit style. And I like what you did. We'll have to take a look. Good job, sir. And with that, I think I'm close to a restroom break. So who is I Am Junior 64? I used to have a friend who was a grandmaster, Dmitry Gurevich, called himself Junior as well. Anyway, good game, sir. I will definitely take a look at that. And great opening! The accelerated dragon collects another victim. Too bad it was me. Oh, Mr. McKnights is here. Mr. McKnights, I'm going to do a short restroom break and then maybe we can do a game. Okay, I will be right back. 2-minute break. Okay, great. Very good game, sir. So, Mr. McKnight. Yeah, my rating's not as big as Magnus's, but I saw when he plays Vanderblitz, he's always got a bottle of water, and my bottle is bigger. Mine's a full gallon. Doctor tells me I'm supposed to drink a gallon a day. Don't come anywhere near it. I mean, unless you count coffee. So, Mr. McKnight. Now, by the way, Mr. McKnight also has a streaming show for anyone up late at night, can't find anything to watch on Netflix, and wants to play a little chess game on ICC. Mr. McKnight also has a stream. Can you put it in the chat again, Mr. McKnight? What your channel is there? Yeah, this guy played well. Totally, knight takes is the best response. There are some systems where white can play bishop d2 and castle queenside. That's a whole
Server
nother kettle of fish.
announcement.
And then if the queen gets attacked, maybe you swing across town. Haven't really looked at those so much. But see here, I always thought that, taking on c3 and then cartwheeling the knight to b6 to c4. Then I was going to try to see if I could work around that. But I like what he did, knight e5, and then kind of Benko Gambit style. Hard to develop my queen side here. Not clear exactly what I should do. If I play bishop d2, then knight c4 comes with tempo. If I play bishop f4, knight c4 comes anyway. Could play bishop to g5. But even then, he could still play knight c4 and knight takes on b2. And bishop takes, just play rook e8. Or he could just preemptively play rook e8. So totally not clear to me how to alleviate the pressure on the queen side. So yeah, this bears further investigation. Then once he gets the pawn back, then of course he's better because his pieces are better mobilized. So yeah, his knight takes on b2 here was really... Now again, what to do? How to mobilize the queen side? I was worried that if I played pawn to c3, that he might just go after my knight with rook at c to d8, but then maybe I have knight d3, knight e3. But even then, I'm still perpetually lagging in development. He could trade rooks, knight takes. I still managed to hold on to my extra pawn, but getting unraveled is another story. Or on c3, well, on c3, then if I just go knight e3, get rid of that rascal, that would be a plus. Yeah, I was really more worried about rook d8. That was what was bothering me. Anywho, something to look at home. Something to put in the laboratory. Oh, so twitch.tv/McKnights. And late at night, various hours, if you feel like getting a game, he's just a guy trying to get better. Love his outfit. He looks like Harrison Ford from Raiders of the Lost Ark, who we have not heard from in a long, long time. But who knows? That was a great franchise series. Sure put a few ka-ching bucks in Harrison Ford's pockets. So, Mr. McKnight, you ready for a game? The games we played before were pretty tough. You fought very, very hard. Let's see. I'm not really seeing...
Incoming challenge.
Aha! I see that one. Okay, so it's game on. 5... Oh.
Game started.
Okay, and we got the white pizzas. Okay. And he ain't playing around. Okay, go Jabava. Haven't played a Jabava tonight. And this is what I was worried about in my game with Mr. B. Thins. That pawn on c7, got to be careful. That's the difference between the Jobava and the regular London, is you have some a little more quick strike potential with the Jobava. Yeah. So he's coughing up a pawn. I get that. Now we're going to go ahead and take that. And we will be giving up the bishop here, I assume. Okay. And my kids had something like this once or twice. So now another issue here. His knight's under attack. Yeah, he does get the two bishops, I guess. Now here's a cute variation. A6.
Server announcement.
If I go knight c7, queen c7, pawn takes on f6. Cute touch, bishop to b4 check. And then on c3, bishop takes c3, bc3, queen c3, queen d2, queen takes a1. Not a happy story for the white team, I have to say. Now if I go knight c3, he can go d4. I could just take that guy. And he takes that guy. He's got some compensation here. He's only a pawn down after all. If I take, he takes, I take, go there. Then he's got b4. That is annoying. He's got a lot of open lines. Not so easy peasy as advertised. Maybe the play is to go here. Yeah, if he'd have moved the knight, say knight e4, I had queen takes d5, queen d5, knight c7, and knight d5. So now this is a whole different kettle of fish. A whole different kettle of fish. Yep, now it's kind of game on. But I figure at least this way,
check,
I can get the queens off the board. And I thought the castle
check,
might have some benefit. But he does have the two bishops. Make no mistake. Now, do I try and take pawns? And then we both have raggedy pawn structures with my king a little exposed? Or do I take? Well, if I take, he can take check. Then he's got 3-2. Where does my king really go? He's got a fantastic dark squared bishop here, no matter what. This guy always makes trouble. Well, can't blame him. Yeah, not liking my king there. Oh, and it's a relatively slow game, so we got a little time. Let's do it this way. This way we got a 4-2 majority on that side, but he's going to have 3-2 on this side, so... Okay, let's get rid of this guy. Okay. Let's go here, I guess. Yeah, he's got pretty good bishops. Pretty good bishops. Now that's disappointing because I kind of wanted to get that guy. I don't want to lose that guy. Oh, I know what we can do. Let's roll this guy over here. See which way he goes. Yeah, something about developing a piece with tempo. Supposed to be a good idea. I'm a little worried, though. He's got some real potential on the queen side. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, now I feel a little bit of relief because at least I can pop up here. Although my development's still a little lagging. Maybe I need to hope that I can get some rook and bishop opposite color in game where I have an extra pawn. Try to go all Fabiano Caruana, Magnus Carlsen on him. Try and make my extra pawn count, even though there's always a lot of technical difficulties associated with opposite colored bishops. Yeah. Okay. Pretend like I'm going to take his bishop. Okay, now good question. Do we want to take his bishop? Do we want to ignore it? Do we want to trade rooks or knight d5? Let's
check,
go for knight d5 check. I'm not sure that's the best choice, but that's where we are. Okay, so now I have the aforementioned opposite colored bishops. Oh, let's go here. That's a tricky move he played. He's got some annoyance value there. Let's go here. Now at least my rooks will have access to the E1 square, I hope. And I'm not sure if F4 is correct. Maybe rook to D2.
Server announcement.
Okay, now he's all on my business there. He's playing well. Okay, now here's the problem. I'm going to check out and try to save the pawn.
Check.
He's still going to have ugly counterplay down here. But if I take, check, there. Oh boy, my king could get in trouble here. Ew, what to do? Guard the thing here. Not a very good job of it. Guard the 7th rank, that's what we're trying to think of. Yeah, I'd love to get my bishop to F3 or something. Sending's a little more problematic than we'd hoped, I must say. Not happy with my bishop on C4 being fragile. Oh, good move. He immediately exploits it to get his pawn back. That's not fun. But he does open the F line. Okay, so.
Check.
Okay, now he's trading that guy, so he's going to get that guy and that guy. But
Check.
I'm going to get that guy. Now I'm going to get this guy.
Check.
Okay, now where to go with my king? I'm worried about my king being over there, so believe it or not, I'm actually going to run into the discovered check just so I don't
Check.
have a problem. Fortunately, that pawn is defended. Now we get our king in position. Now why I did that, I'm not sure. That gave him a chance to save that guy. Let's get these guys motoring up the board. Now the good news is we got 2 connected passed pawns. Usually, if you don't have an accident. Okay, now, tricky guy. See? He's trying to make trouble. I think we got enough juice here that we could try to trade the rooks. And hopefully have a good result. But maybe not.
Black forfeits on time.
Yeah, actually, rook f7 was a mistake because he can play rook h6. And then I got a problem with this guy. Not happy. Good fight, sir. Although the opening was not a happy experience for black. Yeah, knight to b5, I think, is one of the pitfalls that black can fall into if he plays, a little too routine with the development. That's why I think some of the cool players play a6. So then they don't have to worry about this knight b5. And then also, if white castles queenside, a6 could be a precursor to playing b5 at some point. Very good game, though, sir. So again, make sure you visit twitch.tv/McKnights. Good player. Just loves playing chess. What can I say? So we'll do 1 or 2 more games, and then I guess we will call it a knight, or a bishop, or a McKnight bishop. Anywho, let's see who else is out there. Thank you, sir, for
Game
and playing.
started.
Okay, Abavo. This guy sounds familiar. Oh, I guess I forgot to play the Norwegian Rat as advertised. Okay, so this is always good stuff. What to play here? This guy looks like he's got his party hat on. He's kind of a hybrid closed Sicilian / knight g2. Now, he's definitely geared up for f5. No question about that. What to do? I may regret this. Wow. Okay, that's a big investment, sir. He's in full steam ahead party mode. Boy, do we just take this guy? Or do we take that guy and take that? Well,
Check.
let's just check first and then take this. Now at least I'm out of the way of the pawn fork. It doesn't mean I'm out of the woods. It just means I'm out of the way of the pawn fork. Oh, now that's tricky. He's threatening to pawn fork. Boy, I wish my queen could bop out. You know what? Sometimes you just got to take the bull by the horn, or whatever it is they say. And you just got to not be too afraid. That's sometimes. And then there's sometimes you should just be afraid. So I'm hoping I can beat back this attack. It may require some Petrosian-esque Yasser Seirawan style run with the king to the queen side. See how he's pinning me? Good move. He's pinning me so that I can't escape. Well, if he's not doing anything, first things first, I think I want that guy. I mean, I hope I had time to take that. And now he wants to play knight takes and put some PP on the PP, some pressure. He's got the knight coming to e4. Can we fade the attack? Let's just try some defense. Queen up. Hope we don't walk into knight fork. That's how we lost 2 or 3 games. Got to take with a pawn, so that kind of says that kingside castling is off the table. Now the good news is I got a nice strong bishop on d4. I may be able to play f6 and barricade in on e5 as well. Now the pawn on f5 is ugly, admitted. But it does keep his knights off the e4 square. And boom bada boom, I'm out of here. Castled, queenside. His rooks and queens are all top heavy on that side. Okay, he's cutting me off. But how about just basic centralization? Okay, now. Oh, he's threatening this nasty right here. But I was thinking there, maybe we can go takes, takes, takes. Do we have time for this? He's got a nasty knight d6 check thing. But I'm hoping I got enough pieces to fade the heat there, if you will. Yeah, this is kind of a critical moment. If he lets me take his bishop, that's kind of the end of his attack. I think. I hope. Now, why didn't I play something simple? Like, well, maybe there is no simple move. If I play queen up, there probably was a simpler solution. I really thought he was going to get all heroic on us. Well, we got to start chopping some wood here. That guy is public enemy number 1. That guy's got to go. I thought he was going to play queen takes, rook takes, queen takes, knight check. Okay, now let's just get rid of this guy. And maybe it wasn't necessary. Maybe bishop e5. Let's get rid of this guy. And hopefully everything's okay. Our king's a little drafty, but we do have an extra pizza, I think. Wow, I can't believe he ran away. Okay, now I want to trade. Oh, I see. The problem is the f5 pawn if I try to trade, and he's going to come back in here. Okay, you know what? Give him that guy. It's worth that guy just to trade. He doesn't want to trade. He's that kind of guy. Okay, let's play b5, keep his knight out of our business. If he wants to take that pawn, what can I do? Oh, I'm short on time. Okay, that's going to be his big hope here. Let's get our king off of that problem and onto another problem. Okay, well, since we got to move it, let's be true to our nature. Okay, he's pinning our knight. Watch out for tricks. We unpin the knight. Okay, let's go back to our safety spot. And okay, now he wants to check. I really need to trade queens here. Okay, let's just push something. No, just push something. Yeah, there you go. Attack his queen. That's an idea.
Time warning.
Okay, take that. Okay, check.
Check.
I like that. Check.
Check.
Push pawn. Of course, now we trade. Okay, now we're in. Okay. Now we got a plan. Okay, we still got a plan.
Check. Game drawn.
Oh, bummer. Anyway, good fight, sir. After spotting a piece in the opening, good save. Can't believe, yeah, that's always a trade-off here. I need 3 moves to mate or so, and I spent 3 moves grabbing all the pawns. Of course, he could have taken my rook. Anyway, good game, sir. So maybe we'll do one more game, call it a day. McKnights, yeah, definitely reach out to you. And one more game, we'll call it a night. Yeah, that was... Didn't realize I got so short on time there. That was... we'll let him escape, for sure, for sure. Yeah, out of the opening there, the intermittent check with bishop to d4 check. I just needed to play a little faster after that. Yeah, that wins a piece. So f5 was a little premature. But I think what he could have done, he could have thought about maybe just playing bishop e5. I think that would be kind of a normal thing. And a lot of times you give up that bishop for the knight, and then you either give him double pawns, or you get a little more runway there to execute your f5 advance. So, anyway, a little unhappy to let him escape, but, you know, look, life goes on. Good game, sir. Okay, see if we can get one more game. Let's see, a few people didn't make it tonight, but who knows?
Game started.
Tiger 1950. Sounds familiar, but 1957, maybe that's the year he was born or something. I'm not sure. I was born in 56, so maybe he's around my age. Okay, so now we got another advanced French via the c3 Sicilian. But one difference here, though, is that black has lost this option of playing queen b6 and c4, kind of. So this is a little bit different. Okay, now he's taking some immediate action here. Whoa, now he's like coming after me full Monty. So, this does not look good. Yeah, I remember I used to play h4 to stop this, because now he's going to get the 2 bishops and a kind of mobile position, if you will. So, this is pretty dangerous, actually. Now, Spassky once against Petrosian played h4 and sacrificed a pawn. Did not work out well for him. If you play g3, you weaken your squares too much. So what to do here? The guy's playing very well. f4 is an excellent move, yes. I like what he's doing. It's all about pawn structure here. So he's got that half-open G file. Definitely got to be cognizant of that. He's probably going to castle queenside on us. At least that would be my thought. The f-pawn is a bit extended. See, now he's going after my knights. So now some calculation. If I take on f4, he takes on d3. I take on g5. He can take on c2. I take on d8. He takes on d1. Then I can go bishop f6. I don't even know how to begin to assess all that. Also, I could play knight takes, but then I haven't gotten rid of his bishop here. On knight takes, my concern is he will just continue forward with something like h4. Think. His bishops look pretty good here. Well, let's try it. I may be missing something here, but them's the breaks. Oh, but even this, he can just trade. Okay, so there we got to do this. Now I'm surprised he went that route. Although, not to say it's bad, because now I pretty much have to do something like this. Now he's got queen d2, but I think I can fade that with rook c1, give him the d-pawn, and get the d-pawn. I didn't want to play g3, that walks right into h4. And now, we got to start getting some d up. I'm not sure. Oh, why isn't I playing rook there? Okay. Anyway, now we got the knight over. I feel better. We got the knight over. Oh, I'm short on time. Holy cow. I think this happened before when I played this game.
Time warning.
Yeah, no kidding. Time warning. What was this time control? Was this a 3-minute game and I've been jabbering? Okay, I could see him going there. Okay, all for a queen trade. When you're being attacked on the king side,
Check. Check. Check.
I'm probably out of the square.
Check. 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 White forfeits on time.
Ah! Well, good game, sir. Yeah, the rook trade. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I was better, but took a lot of time. Okay, so I guess we'll call it a night. That's about, so maybe we'll do one more game. Let's get one more game. Hate to end on a loss. Yeah, that was another. Yeah, here, of course, king c7 is winning. That stops the pawn. It's funny, I felt cool at the start. Now it feels a bit warm.
Game started.
Okay, so Shaba, new player, 1902. Okay, so here I think we can take, and this is kind of, a position you could get from the Grunfeld, from the Caro-Kann. I think it's pretty much okay. Now, he did take bishop g4 off the table. That was smart. So you got this kind of isolated queen-pawn type scenario. Now, there are various scenarios where you can take that pawn on d4, but they do get some comp. But what to do? The other choice is you can go after their bishop. Yeah, I feel like black's kind of solved most of his problems here. Well, if I play, I'd like to play there. Let's just see how he's going to build up here. Now he's all over my bishop. Let's pull it back here. No harm, no foul. What was it? Nimzovich. The passed pawn is a criminal that needs to be kept under lock and key. I think that was the comment. I was saying is now this, he's all in here. Can we do this? What was that? I just gave away that guy. Well, not clear. Not clear why I gave it away, but okay. Yeah, now he's got that guy. Now we kind of got to fight for compensation and whatever. Anyway, rather than go crazy, let's just mobilize, right? Mobilization's been called. Okay, let's get him out of our business. Ah, he refuses to go away. Okay, let's start advancing on this side. Okay. Now he's offering to trade. Now that'll lift the blockade on us. Don't really want to trade, but might not have much choice. Okay. Not sure that was so great on my part to trade, but okay. now he's coming after this guy. The guy's playing great. I'm just going to be pawns down for Bupkis. And I'm behind on the clock. Oh boy, it's amazing how
Time warning.
things can go south. Yeah, there I think he had rook a8 check would have been a killer. Not that he's doing bad here. Not that he's doing bad here. Okay, that's a nasty trap.
Check. 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 Black forfeits on time.
Ah! Unbelievable. Just not my night on time. I'm too slow. Okay, I guess one more 1-minute game just to see how many games we can lose on time tonight. I was doing so well. And then the last 2 games, a total of 4 seconds. Anyway, good job, sir. Thank you for playing.
Game started.
Okay. Well, we got castled. That's usually a plus. Not sure why I went there, but okay. Ooh, that's annoying. Okay, I'm pinned. I get it. I'm pinned. Yeah, I wanted to go bishop e6, make sure his queen finds a better home, and I didn't want him playing queen takes b7. So, okay, now at least I can get 1 bishop. Then I can go up here, and I can get another bishop. Okay, but not to say it's all great. Okay, let's try and chip away. Now here, let's take, save that guy. Okay, queen up. Fighting for the file. Okay, now there he opens the board. I'm not sure that's so great, but again, time. Okay, now I think we got a chance this game, and we got a weapon. Okay. Oh, mouse slip. Oh, unbelievable. I meant to play queen
Check.
takes d5.
Time warning.
I simply dropped the pawn. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Check.
Okay, take that guy. Who knows? This may work out for us. Okay, which one to take? Oh, he's going to get a queen either way. Okay.
White forfeits on time.
Seriously? That's how I finally win a game on time? Okay, thank you, sir. Mouse slip with queen takes d6. Yeah, I dragged the mouse. I meant to take the pawn on d5. Life is good. And I dropped the queen on d6. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Okay, thank everybody for playing. I'll see you guys next week. And a couple of games that came down to less than 5 seconds. And hey, that's what Blitz Chess is all about. Thanks again. And thanks to ICC and, everyone. And I will see you guys later. And I will check in with McKnights. Don't forget, let's visit our friend McKnights. That's twitch.tv/McKnights. Okay. See you guys next week. Thanks.